everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from blustery, rainy, soggy Salt Lake City,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, Dan,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about some of those decisions that atheists make that are easy for... That may not seem like the obvious thing. And for example, why would an atheist without children care about climate change? This is the kind of, which is something
I like it when it's warmer.
I care deeply about this,
Yes,
right?
you
And
do.
so we're going to be talking through you had a good analog of what it's similar to. Which
Yeah,
is,
I mean, it's basically, the Christians are always like, well, if you don't believe in God, what's keeping you from committing murder?
right.
But I mean, there's legal stuff, but what is keeping us from committing murder? Like, what's keeping us on the moral straight and narrow path?
And so take it down a step. Why would we make, proactive decisions to try to help out with the environment and whatnot? So we'll be getting into some of that later
that's
in
coming
the show.
up later in the show.
And in the meantime, we've got some stories.
We do have some stories.
Got some stories, Dan. Indonesia.
I've heard of it.
Jakarta.
Okay, great. It's a largely Muslim country.
Yeah, and that plays a big part, surprisingly, in this story.
Yeah.
Indonesia was also a Dutch colony.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, it was.
I've learned something. TIL.
Which is
Today
why
I learned.
Which is why when you go to Amsterdam, you should seek out an Indonesian restaurant.
I will.
Because they have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in the UK.
You want some good
You
good
get a lot of
Indonesian
Indian
food.
right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
UK, it's the same thing, right?
Because one of the unanticipated consequences of deciding that you're a global power that gets to just colonize places is then later on it's like, oh, we have to let you come live here now?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Bring your food.
Bring your food. That's the trade-off. It's a good trade-off.
Anywho, and with a lot of former colonies, they were left with a Dutch legal system.
Okay.
They were left with a foreign legal system. It was based in Dutch laws and traditions and whatnot.
Sure.
And so, to be honest, not necessarily a natural fit for the Indonesians.
Okay, fair.
So they are poised to pass a new penal code that, makes it feel a little bit more right for
a full overhaul.
Complete overhaul. They're starting over.
Okay.
From the sound of this article, and they're making sure that priorities, sort of Indonesian priorities, are being addressed.
This sounds bad. This doesn't sound good.
No. This is self-governance. This is
Nope. You're leading me down a primrose path. I'm not buying it. Something horrible's about to happen.
They are set to criminalize consensual sex outside marriage.
Yep, there it is.
And introduce stiff penalties for insulting the president's dignity.
Yeah. Yep. That's
they are basically going after basic freedoms that should be enjoyed, anywhere in this world. But sadly, these kind of things are hard for, conservative types to understand. That people are happiest and we're at our best when we're allowed to chart these courses for ourselves.
Let me tell you something. Right now, Donald Trump is hearing about this and drooling. As we speak, he's like, how can I make it so that nobody can come? Nobody can say anything mean about me on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, that was a good Donald Trump.
Oh, thank you.
By the way. Yeah. Here's a quote from Nasir Jamil. Is a politician from the prosperous Justice Party. The state must protect citizens from behavior that is contrary to the supreme precepts of God.
Oh, wow. Yes. Protect the citizens from their own Freedom of speech and action.
And sexuality.
Yeah.
Under these new laws...
Is homosexuality already illegal there?
I think it already was.
Yeah, I think that's probably...
unmarried couples who live together as husband and wife could be jailed for 6 months or face a maximum fine of 10 million rupiah, which is about $710.
Right. But that's probably significant there.
Yeah, that's about 3 months' salary for many Indonesians. So basically, a prosecution can go forward if a village chief files a complaint with police and parents or children of the accused do not object. Oh, interesting, right?
Wow.
Parents, children, and spouses can also lodge a complaint.
Wow.
This is a new power for village chiefs, because essentially, according to this another lawmaker, the victim of adultery is society. Is also society.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jesus. That's amazing.
Let's see. A maximum 1 year prison term can also be handed down to anyone who has sex with someone who is not their spouse or a close family member, lodges a complaint. The law.
Oh my God! I thought you were saying if anyone has sex with someone who's not their spouse or a close family member. Okay. That's not what you were saying.
That's not. No.
Got it.
The law also impacts, obviously, gay people, as gay marriage is not recognized in Indonesia.
Right.
So how are you to have sex?
Any sex equals
Any sex
illegal.
Falls into this. The question came up, what about foreigners? Indonesia has a lot of tourism, as a part of their economy. And so it does apply to foreigners as well. But when they were asked if tourists in Indonesia could face jail for extramarital sex, the response was, no problem, as long as people don't know.
Right. Just draw the blinds. And we won't prosecute.
Yeah.
Unless we don't like you.
Unless for some reason we don't like you.
And then fuck
and then
you.
we have every right.
Yeah.
Under the law to put you in jail.
Yeah. That's I
for
never trust a we promise we won't prosecute this law.
Yeah, no way. This Indonesia's off my list.
Yeah.
Gone. Done.
Well, I mean, and I think that there are blasphemy laws. Like there are places that you and I specifically, like our listeners, aren't necessarily on record as much as we are. There are places in the world, and I don't know if Indonesia is one of them, but there are places in the world that you and I should not go, because if anybody found out that we were the podcasters who did this,
I know,
we'd be thrown in jail.
I know.
For doing this stupid show.
Right.
This is an idiotic show. No one should throw anybody in jail for this idiotic show. Oh, well. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to take us to Phoenix, Arizona.
Ooh. Beautiful Phoenix, Arizona.
Where the Arizona Supreme Court has made a ruling.
Okay.
It is a 4-3 decision. So far from unanimous on this. They've ruled that a couple of Christian artists who do wedding invitations.
Oh, yeah.
They sued because Phoenix has an ordinance that says you can't discriminate. If you're open for business, you got to do it for everybody.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it for the gays. They don't wanna. So they sued. They lost in lower court.
Okay. The
Arizona Supreme Court says, in this one case, and they're trying to keep it really narrow, this doesn't apply to everybody, but in this one case, it would be too much of an infringing on their rights, on their beliefs, to make them do invitations for gays. So they won in that particular one.
God.
It's a disheartening thing. The city of Phoenix has, I don't know. It's rough. They've got an anti-hate ordinance that allows that just says you can't discriminate. If you're open for business, you are open for business for the public. There you go. It's tricky. It's tricky. The dissenting court minority, was pretty disturbed by it. They said today's decision is deeply troubling because its reasoning cannot be limited to discrimination related to same-sex marriages or marriage or based on the belief of any one religion, but instead extends more broadly to other claims of a right, end quotes, by businesses to deny services to disfavored customers, which I think is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because now it's, I don't believe that gays are okay. And then someone says, I don't believe that blacks are okay. Or I don't believe that blah, blah, blah is okay. The Scathing Atheist Boys have a really brilliant sketch that they do sometimes that they call Make It Black, where they just say, substitute in black for gay or for whatever and see how you feel about it now.
Right.
Is it okay for them to discriminate against black people? I don't want to do, wedding invitations for black folks because that's against my religion. Is that okay?
Right.
If it's not, then fuck you. It's not okay for gays either.
Right.
Or, is it okay to discriminate against Christians? I don't, maybe that's against my principles to make anything for Christians.
I know, it's fun though when it's a group that you don't like.
Yeah.
And you ask the hypothetical because I end up just kind of fantasizing about, wouldn't that just be wonderful?
Oh yeah.
But that's the position that these people are in. Wouldn't it just be wonderful?
Yeah.
To be able to. I don't like them.
I know.
Right.
They are annoying.
Right.
I'm not gonna do my job for them.
Right.
I do it for people I like.
Right.
I reserve the right. I love that. Anytime you see that sign, we reserve the right to.
First of all, there's malice behind that sign.
That sign is hate.
Yeah. No.
But also, it doesn't change what the law is. You can reserve the right as much as you want. You don't have that right.
Right.
You can have a sign. Doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Except that you're a hateful dick. No. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone who blah, blah, blah. Well, no. In point of fact, incorrect. Except in Arizona, where...
If by chance you paint...
If you're an
wedding
artist...
invitations.
Yeah. Then...
it's allowed.
Yeah. So there you go. We're in a weird moment in history. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Pakistan.
Sure.
Dan.
Yeah.
Another largely Muslim country.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, very Muslim country. In fact, officially Muslim country, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you speak the language. Do you? Oh, that one was good. That was on the fly. I just came up with that. Urdu. See what I did?
No, I'm fully aware.
We shouldn't record in the morning. It's
yeah, no kidding.
A little punchy.
I'm just yawning constantly, and you're doing.
I'm doing
that. That's not
okay.
Good. That is unacceptable.
And let me tell you something. An impromptu pun on the word Urdu. I don't think everybody can pull that off. I'm just saying. Go on. Go on with what you're saying. Please tell the story.
Oh boy. No, I just feel like we should move on at this point. How could I top that?
We're just done with the show.
I just walk out.
I just told the worst pun.
I'm like, you know what, Dan?
The show's over.
That's it. And let me pull the card out. I'll post what we have. It's fine.
We're done.
No. District education officials in Peshawar, which is the capital of, oh God, why did I go down this road? Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Hirabhurpur.
Nailed it.
It's a conservative province, and they have announced, education officials, they have announced that girls must cover themselves fully to protect them from any unethical accident.
Oh.
Unethical accidents. So the raping of or molesting in any way of a young woman or girl,
it was an accident.
is an accident.
Look.
Trip, fall,
There's
accident.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do. I sneezed the other day and I accidentally molested somebody.
Of course. Well, she wasn't fully covered.
She wasn't fully covered. There's pollen in the air. What am I supposed to do?
Right. Oops. Whoop. I just molested her.
Oh.
Well, I didn't mean to.
I saw her
if she
shoulder.
Had been covered, it wouldn't have happened.
Oh, my goodness.
So this sparked outrage.
Well,
outrage, Dan.
In the country?
Pakistan.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Not just us.
Not just our own outrage. These were the kind of comments that they were getting on social media. So the burden of unethical behavior lies on schoolgirls and not the pervs who harass girls, regardless of them being covered. That was apparently pretty typical. That was from Naila Inayat, a resident of the area.
You know, this is why they shouldn't have the internet, because you know what? They're caught up with the whole world feminism thing. They're using the good arguments that are coming from the West.
Yeah. No, anyway. I know. Leading Pakistani women's rights activist Tiara Abdullah warned that this would essentially not enhance the image of Pakistan, while the rest of the world is moving forward with its children's education, protection, and development. Pakistan is definitely moving backwards.
A, that's a woman who's going to be in jail in 5 months. B, I got bad news for her. At least our country is not moving forward with educating the young people.
Anyway,
we're moving backwards.
I'm not done with the story, Dan.
Keep going.
Felt like you were ready to move on.
No, keep going.
No? All right. So, actually, surprise, surprise, the officials have backtracked.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they actually responded to this backlash, and because it was nationwide.
Okay.
These people were just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on over here?
Yeah.
And so they issued a statement. The directive is hereby withdrawn.
Oh, good.
Is what they said.
Okay.
They are not going to force them to fully cover. I would assume, though, just based on that, they'll have to still wear, a headscarf or something. But
I mean, that's I feel like if what's happening in parts of the world such as that is that they're trying the shit and then the blowback is so powerful that they're reversing it, things are going in an okay direction? Question mark?
Yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah.
There definitely is a movement in the Muslim world, right, in these Muslim nations, to end the compulsory, headscarfing or veiling. This was against veiling because Pakistan, I'm fairly confident, has compulsory headscarves, right? This is about that nonsense.
Yeah,
only the eye is visible, and
the ninja costumes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so there is something bubbling out there, and again, the great savior of this world is the internet.
Yeah, I think
the rise of
it's also the great Satan of this world.
Yeah,
I mean it's Russians are hacking the universe. Through it. It's
not some great thing, like perfect thing,
but yeah, when
the flow of information, the fact that we have this rise of the nuns in the United States.
Yeah.
Right. Which 10, 15 years ago was inconceivable.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Completely inconceivable in this country. And yet we've seen it. The hastening of the gay rights movement.
Yeah.
Gay men being able to find each other so much more easily outside of the middle of the night in some park.
Yeah. Realize that there are more normal people like you in the world. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Hell, we've had listeners in Pakistan to our show.
Yeah.
That's what the internet does.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Pakistan, but I mean,
it was probably at the American Embassy, but
yeah, something like that. Somebody in the military or something.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly. But it could have been Pakistani listeners.
You never know. You never know. Anyway, okay, I'm going to take us to your home state of Oklahoma.
Oh boy, really? Do we have to?
It's never good news. It's never good news coming out of OK.
Where things are not usually okay.
Yeah, exactly. This is about 23-year-old Sean Cormie, a gay man who came out to his family earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
So everybody in the family, this is all very new, and as you know, and as you couldn't guess,
right?
A good Christian household,
right?
Even Sean himself, I think, still professes Christianity, or at least wears a cross around his neck.
Okay, habit.
Right, but talks about Jesus too.
Old habits die hard.
I saw some video of this. Anyway,
he'll come around.
His family has been asking him and his partner to come with them to church.
Right.
And I think probably as a peacemaking offering, the two of them decided, okay, we'll just go to church with you.
Right.
It was an ambush. It was a setup.
Oh,
a bushwhack.
No. Oh no. Is he okay?
Kinda. Literally. At some point in the service, suddenly a group of parishioners gathered around them, and the pastor started praying over them and saying things like, homosexuality, it's a sin, it's an abomination, you need to realize that it's a sin, blah, blah, blah. And they're all gathering around them, and these two are like, fuck no, and try to get out.
Right.
His partner escapes. What? And the congregants hold Sean down, don't let him leave. One of the congregants apparently punched him in the face, he claims.
Dan. This is time honored. This is the laying on of hands.
Yeah.
Right?
The unwanted and yeah.
Forced religion. This is it.
They look.
It is hard for them to not do this.
I know.
On a normal day.
Say what you will about them. They believe their faith. I think they believed that if they prayed,
that was a mob. That wasn't group of religious people.
Well, this was clearly planned.
Yeah.
This was like the second he said yes, we'll come. Mom called the pastor and said, "We got a gay one coming into the building. What can we do about it?"
Well, I mean, the pastor was already fully aware, and she calls and she goes, "Sean's coming." And
right?
He's like, okay, we'll handle it.
I'm
on it,
and we are going to ungayify him that day.
Yeah. If we have to punch it out of him, if we have to beat it out of him,
in the name of Jesus, punch. Punch you in the face.
Yeah.
It apparently didn't cure him.
Really?
Sadly.
Really?
It's a shock, really.
That's interesting.
Because that's the best that they've got. They went with their best intervention that they could possibly...
I can't believe I'm laughing. The only reason I'm laughing is I've seen the video and I know he's fine. Like, physically fine.
Yeah.
Emotionally, this would be incredibly scarring.
Oh, my God!
The betrayal of his family...
It's so awful.
It's really sick.
It's sick.
Yeah.
Religion is a disease.
Yeah. Did you say Blackwell, Oklahoma? Was that?
I'm not actually. Yeah, Blackwell.
Huh.
I don't know where that is. So, and here's the other thing. Don't go. If someone wants you to go to church, well, if they want you to go to church, probably don't go. But if they want you to go to church at one of these sort of the corner section of the strip mall churches.
No, it looked like they bought the whole strip mall.
Oh, yeah. No strip mall churches.
No converted strip malls.
Nope. If you haven't built your own building, you're not ready for prime time. I'm not going in.
You know, Jesus,
I'm not going in.
Jesus wouldn't ask you to. That's no. You can start your church wherever you want.
Oh,
your living room, your garage.
Look, I'm on board. Start it wherever you want, but I'm not coming.
The back
until
room, storage room.
I'm not showing up until you've got your own
the Sonic
purpose-built building. At least I know that like you've worked a little bit. You've worked out some of the kinks.
There was a church that was using my high school auditorium.
Holy shit!
When I was a kid.
Wow. Yeah. Just problematic in every way.
Oh yeah.
Every way.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. What do you got?
Dan?
Yeah.
How much would you be willing to pay to never hear a Christian say that their thoughts and prayers are with you, that they're offering you their thoughts and prayers?
I know lots of people who would be willing to pay quite a lot.
There was a study recently where they brought together three groups: Christians, agnostics, and atheists.
Okay.
No other religious or spiritual groups were part of the study. They just focused on those three.
AKA two groups, but never mind.
Well, fair enough. Okay, two groups.
And I want to be clear that in my mind, I'm including both Christians and atheists in the under the umbrella of agnostic, because it's just a different.
Okay. For the purpose of this, Dan, not your definition.
I know.
For the purpose of this. Anyway.
We haven't talked about that for a while.
We have not.
Anyway.
I know. But about a third of the entire group was directly affected by Hurricane Florence.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is, this was done in I think, South Carolina. And the rest were asked to base their responses on some other hardship they had experienced.
Okay.
Each participant was given $5 and asked how much they'd pay for thoughts and prayers from either a Christian or a non-religious person in response to their hardship.
Right? Interesting.
And so the Christians were willing to pay for prayers.
Interesting.
The going rate was $7.17 from a priest and $4.36 from another Christian. You're saying
if it's a priest, I'll take my $5 and I'll add a little bit of something just to get that good priest action
out of my own pocket.
Yeah,
because I want a priest.
You know what?
Right? But I'm going to keep a little bit of this for myself if it's another.
If it's just Martha down the street, okay, I'll toss a couple bucks her way.
Atheists in particular, were willing to hand over $1.66 to avoid a prayer from a priest.
To avoid a prayer.
And $3.54 to avoid a prayer from a random believer.
Please.
A priest, you're more... And I was like, you know what? Actually, there's truth in that. I would endure a priest offering a prayer much more readily than just some random person. Right?
This is so stupid.
Oh, it makes me laugh so
Oh, my
hard.
God. Okay. Look, I guarantee you, if you could make the promise that for a monthly subscription price, you can be opted out of like Christian rhetoric and Christian thoughts and prayers and all that shit in this society, our listeners would be signing up.
Wait until Facebook gets this.
Right?
Right? Legitimately, at least on social media.
Oh my God.
You could just be done with thoughts and prayers.
I'm not in a place where I'm okay with Facebook charging you to enhance the walls of your bubble.
I know.
Like that's not what I'm about.
I am joking.
But But I could see people totally being like, that is a service that I value.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much?
Thank you for that. $20? You got it.
And anytime there's a school shooting, just a surge of new subscribers.
Just yeah, exactly. No thoughts, no prayers.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Actually, if you could just whittle down your Facebook feed to substantive discussion.
Mm-hmm. That would be worth a fee.
Oh, I'm on board.
Yeah. Filter out the nonsense from the left and the right.
Yeah. Both sides, all the bullshit, all the nonsense, all of the, all the flame wars and people being dicks and whatever. Yeah. Just all that gone. If it's substantive, then yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be fantastic.
Facebook would be making money off of me at that moment.
They already are.
It's true. Shocking. All right. I have horrible news.
What? Dan, why'd you save that for the last one?
Look, none of mine are good. I had no good news. I had nothing tremendously funny. Nothing.
Okay, we're gonna do our best.
We'll make it through this.
Okay.
And at first I was just like, oh, that's weird. And then I started to think about the greater implications of this, and I think it's actually more terrifying than I was originally thinking.
Dan.
This is about a program for Middle East studies. It's a combined program between the University of North Carolina and Duke University.
Oh.
And great. Do some Middle East studies. Now, normally when the South decides to study the Middle East, I assume it's going to be very anti-Muslim.
Sure.
And pro-Christian,
right,
and pro-Israel.
Right.
But these are universities. So also, like, they're going to try and sort of look at a lot of sides of a story. Well, apparently, one of the North Carolinian representatives in the U.S. legislature got concerned.
Oh, no.
Because they had some sort of conference, and there was a lot of talk about, like, Israel being pretty fucking shitty to Palestinians, which you're not allowed to say in the U.S. anymore, apparently, if there's conservatives around.
Right.
Because that's anti-Semitic. They love to throw that around, even though that's you guys. You guys are the anti-Semitic ones. But it's but anything that's against Israel or anything that's like critical of how Israel as a state is operating,
right,
which there's plenty to be critical of, they consider it totally anti-Semitic. So the North Carolina rep George Holding sent apparently a complaint to Betsy DeVos, our Secretary of Education, complaining that if the taxpayers are funding this conference, they shouldn't be, because it's got severe anti-Israel bias and anti-Semitic rhetoric. Well, in response, DeVos has instructed the education department to look into whether or not they can these universities can get the grants that have been funding them anymore.
Wow.
Meaning, the U.S. government is deciding to insert politics into into how educational facilities get grants.
Wow.
That
is fucked up.
Is a step on the road to fascism.
Yeah.
That is a
we're Dan.
That is a solid cobble in the road we've been building.
Yet another step.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's
Bletch.
It is it's terrifying. And that's where we are. We need to be wide open eyes about the fact that our country is now trying to control the content that's being taught in universities through political means.
Oh my God.
Making funding contingent on right thinking in their minds.
Oh, so bad.
Not good. Not a great look.
That is, oh my God.
So
I'm sickened.
That's where we're at, folks.
Dan, why did you end with that?
Because it's fucking important, Frank. This is
let me tell you something. I don't know why our listeners show up. Okay. But I want to tell you why I show up.
Okay, go ahead.
I show up, Dan, because I want to be entertained.
Our show is not just for uplifting story.
Yeah,
we don't
you
do any.
failed to entertain me, Dan, with that one.
That was infotainment.
No.
You've been infotained.
I was infoed. I was only infoed.
Well, listen. You listeners at home. If, unlike Frank, you feel infotained as opposed to just infosalted, you can join our quest to be entirely listener supported.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
And the way that you do that, here's the thing. We don't want to play ads anymore. We have to play ads right now.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that.
Right.
We're doing great on our quest.
Yeah.
It's going very, very well.
Yeah.
We're still not there yet. We're still not to our goal.
Yeah.
But if you've been thinking about it, if you like the infotainment that you get from our show,
I hope so. Damn.
Oh God, I hate that. Please consider joining up and becoming part of the troop that is getting us there.
We're roughly 40 patrons away from being completely ad free.
Yeah.
We'll hit our next goal after 15 more people.
We're so close, you guys.
And then 3 out of 4 shows will be ad free.
And you get benefits too.
Yeah.
You'll get an ad free show just right out the chute.
Yeah.
Through Patreon.
Yeah.
You get access to that.
Yep.
You also get access to the Frank and Dan Diaries. We do a weekly.
Well, that's for supporters at the $2
right. Oh, right.
level.
Yeah, you don't automatically get it, but if you can come in on that level, you get
like in your feed, you get like an additional little
something
from us.
Yeah, a little something extra. There's other extras. Anyway, go ahead and look at it.
Yeah.
Go to thankgodimatheist.com. Click on the Patreon thing on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yeah.
It's easy enough. You can pause the show now. We'll be here when you get back.
Yeah.
Go and do it. If you're thinking about it, do it now. Pull over. You're driving, pull over, and go do it. All right. But also, if you want to communicate with us, there are ways to do that too. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, and go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on the like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in.
Yeah, more to come.
Dan.
Oh, please tell me that there's a firefighter prophet in my future.
Oh. Yeah, let me tell you, you guys have matching mustaches right now.
I could be a firefighter prophet. I have all the requisite facial hair for firefighter prophecy.
You need a little bit more bangs.
Oh, God, I'm not going to do his hairstyle. A, I no longer have the follicular talent for it, but also
no.
B, he looks awful.
Oh, come on.
Terrible looking fella.
Come on, you guys still got some to work with there.
Yeah. It's just not it's not as fulsome and beautiful as once it was.
That's just life.
It is life.
That's what starts to happen.
It's it's
Look at that.
It's what happens when you have testosterone coursing through your veins.
When I pull back my hair, look how far back it goes.
I know. We're both losing it.
I'm getting ready to figure out like a good comb over.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Right.
Like, I'm combing it. I'm now combing it over from all the way down to my ear.
I was
up and over.
I was at Harmon's the other day. You know the stairs coming down from the cafe area.
Right.
There's this octogenarian man. Right. 2 death grips on the handrail as he's walking down the stairs.
Sure.
Comb over.
Yeah.
and the most perfectly dyed brown hair.
Oh my God.
It's like, dude, you're not fooling anyone.
Oh, let this be a PSA to the world. There's no amount of combing over or like maneuvering your hair to fake that you have more hair than you have.
No, I know.
It cannot work.
Yeah, I know.
I've tried. It doesn't work. You're not fooling anyone.
What about a perm? Would a perm help?
It would help me feel like the world is more comedic. It would help me feel funny. So go get you a perm if you want to. It's not going to make you look less bald. It'll just make me giggle. But that's a valuable thing. Though. I value that. All right.
Here's Mark Taylor.
Fine.
He's got something to say. He's got advice for us. He feels that we need to all make sure that we're carrying concealed weapons, but for a very, very interesting reason.
Oh
so
my God,
let's tune in
he's a thinker. This one.
let's see what he has to say.
Bale's food source. Bale is a very violent entity, and it feeds off the blood of the innocent. If you don't know who Bale is, go do a study. Bale is the second in command on Satan's triune. When you talk about Jezebel and all these other people, they all fall underneath Bale's command. That's the way I look at it. You have to know command structure. So, but his food source is running dry, which is why they're so hard fighting this not for Roe versus Wade to come down. Now, here's what people need to start looking for. We all know the Red Cross is corrupt.
Yeah.
And they've been, they're into all this. All right.
Absolutely.
And so even Q's called them out. And so when you look at the Red Cross, and what the Lord's been showing me is that their food sources are drying up. They are literally grabbing people down here in Hillsborough and Pinellas County, down here near Tampa, grabbing people in broad daylight.
Oh my gosh.
These human traffickers are. Why? Because their food source is drying up.
Mm.
This is why I'm telling people we're entering into one of the most dangerous phases of this fight right now. And, I'm a heavy duty Second Amendment guy. I've hunted and fished my whole life. I'm an outdoorsman. I tell people, I don't care if you're Christian or not. If you don't have a concealed weapons permit, you need to get one. You need to learn how to use a weapon, and you need to be carrying it right now, because this is a very dangerous time we're entering into. And it'll get cleaned up. It's not saying walk in fear. You just prepare. You know what I mean? Mm. But look for, at some point, I believe what the Lord's been showing me, look for the blood banks to go on a massive drive.
Wow. Ooh,
for no reason.
Guys, my gosh.
For no reason, they're going to go on a massive drive, I believe, because they need the blood.
Yeah.
Because their sources are running out.
Mm.
So they can use that human blood for sacrifices. They can use it for, drinking it or whatever it is they do. Look for your blood banks to start going on these massive drives, including, I believe, probably the Red Cross.
I'm actually stunned. Let me tell you something. They don't surprise me much.
I know, this one's good. This is a good one.
I'm a little bit. This one actually really kind of hurts.
There's a lot wrong with what he's saying.
Because it is,
as far as like
you can't. How do you get more evil than terrifying people about something as genuinely good and kind as blood donation?
I know.
How do you get more evil than that? That is, look, I'm not much of a good and evil kind of guy. Right. That's not really where my brain lives.
Right.
But that's evil.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to this because, you sent it to me and I'm like, the headline says something about, bail and concealed weapons and stuff. And I thought, okay, this is going to be good. That's fine. And I'm actually horrified.
Yeah. And it's
I wanted to laugh about this, and it's actually like really hit me.
Yeah. This exists in this world that we've been talking about a lot lately, of this very violent vision of the world that we live in.
Yeah.
That these Christian extremists, fundamentalists are in their mind, that's the world, right? And we all are either idiots or complicit or whatever, right? In their minds. And in this one clip, he hits, you should be carrying a gun to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because the followers of Baal are kidnapping people off the street, right, to use as blood bags, essentially.
Blood sacrifice.
Yeah. Because they're running out of food.
Food. Multiple times he uses the word food.
And so, of course, the Red Cross must be, I mean, the world this man lives in, right? Where the Red Cross, which has its problems. There are some problems on the managerial and executive level at the Red Cross.
Fine.
Right? This is stuff that exists.
They're still doing amazing things.
Work
in the
is
world.
so critical.
It is absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
I fucking hope he has to go to the hospital and nobody gives him a transfusion. Fuck you. Oh my God, I'm so furious. I am livid about this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's funny at all. Well, it's funny. It's pretty fucking funny.
It's funny, dude.
All this bail shit. Come on. Oh my God. I'm not telling you to walk in fear. Just be horrified.
Yeah.
Literally be terrified of everyone around you. Right. They're all trying to kill you.
If the world that he conceives exists and there's these agents of bail running around nabbing people off the road, let me tell you, your stupid handgun ain't going to help you, dude.
Also, like, fucking, look, if it's going to prevent a bunch of people from getting murdered on the streets, give them a little bit of your blood. Well, it's fine. You know what I mean?
Oh, to the Red Cross.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, funny. I don't know if he actually does, if there are clips of him saying not to give blood. You would think logically that would have to be his conclusion.
Yeah.
But there ain't a lot about this guy that's, logical.
No, it's Blech. Okay, I'm mad. I'm gonna turn to something that makes me happy, which is our listeners, and they've written into us, and we'll talk to them. Hi, Frank and Dan. I've been enjoying your podcast for a couple months. Thank you for the humor and the content.
Nice.
It really caught my interest last episode when you talked about FUFRF and their ad being rejected again. You remember we talked about that?
The Ron Reagan one?
FFRF, yeah, not being able to play their ads on during the Democratic debate.
Yeah.
I'm a board member for OSF, which is apparently a Foundation for Mormon Stories.
Okay.
That's not what it stands for. Anyway, and I know that our local billboards are being rejected for violating community standards. If you've seen the ads, you know that they are just basic text such as, know your religion.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be interested to know that something similar is happening in your home state. Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow. Really?
I know that there are different companies that run billboards in the state, and I know that several of them are Mormon owned, and they just will not. I mean, I know that other organizations have tried to put up billboards and had to find the one billboard company that would be like, okay. And not offensive billboards.
But those billboards where they'll just let you run what you want to run.
Yeah.
There's only a few of them.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them in the valley.
Yeah.
So it's like, and meanwhile, all over the valley, we're seeing like billboards from Christian organizations, not even Mormon organizations, but Christian organizations that are like, Cosmo is porn and your baby, if you have an abortion, you're a murderer, and just
I know
any old crazy shit that a Christian wants to put up, sure.
Yeah.
But the mildest implication that there might not be a God, or that maybe your religion isn't the smartest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And no.
Yeah, don't even get me started about billboards. I don't even think there should be billboards, but
that's probably true.
That's me.
Yeah.
And if they are there, then they should probably be publicly regulated because they're taking up the public space.
Yeah.
It's our eyeballs that are just being projected at as we drive down the freeway.
Yeah.
Well, as other people drive down the freeway. We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that. We will get to that. Stefan wrote into us, or Stefan, I don't know how you pronounce it, but g'day from sunny Perth, Australia.
Hey!
Just wanted to follow up on the free speech issue as a bit of a view from an outsider.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about free speech. What do we talk about?
Well, we've been having this discussion about where the lines should exist between sort of maintaining the general peace.
Yeah.
Right? and freedom of speech.
Right.
Because there's a lot of countries that have that there's like hate speech laws and that kind of stuff, which is something we really don't dip our toes in too much.
Not too much
in these parts.
Not too much. Sorry, Stefan says, one of the problems I see with restricting speech in any sort of subjective way is that the U.S., at least as far as I can see, is a terribly partisan political system. While the politics over here aren't great, at least most of our right-wing party can agree that some protections for hate speech are okay and should not be used for partisan purposes. I don't feel that the Democrat-Republican divide is in a similar sort of place. I think as a result, it's important to consider what could happen if Trump's administration had a precedent for banning hate speech. I think they mean the concept of hate speech.
Right.
What sort of damage could his government do? I could easily imagine the fundamentalist Christian lobby seeking to ban hateful or prejudiced speech against them, and some atheist content being considered hateful or prejudiced.
Yeah.
I understand the good intentions that something like limitations on free speech come from. It's just that the direct legal control of speech seems like something that a resurgent U.S. right wing would find far too tempting to play around with.
Yeah.
I get that.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Is who controls the limitations.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Who's drawing the line?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
this is why it's this question that I'm still asking myself, because I don't know the right answer.
Well, and listen,
I'm more than happy with it kind of staying where it's at. Right?
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with it being where it's at, but it also, the question is, could it be reined in?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
I think, and yeah, make no mistake, the Christians are definitely trying to make that happen.
No, and that's true. Yeah.
They are trying to make it illegal to say mean things about them. They would love that.
They would love that.
But theocracy is kind of the goal right now of the far right.
I know.
Of even just a sort of not even that far right wing. Our entire right wing is far right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, Thorn wrote into us, or maybe it's Torn. I don't know how to pronounce that. Xylophone, Frank and Dan. I guess that's a greeting. No, I don't know.
Xylophone Thorn.
There you go. I asked a Hawaiian at my work about the telescope. You'll recall that we talked about the telescope in Hawaii that they're trying to put up onto a mountain that's sacred to the native Hawaiians.
Yeah.
And the tension there.
Uh-huh.
No clue how much of what he said is true, but it is at least what their community is discussing / being told. The main narrative he told me was about generations of oppression and broken promises and standing in solidarity with First Nations tribes who have been forcibly dispossessed of their lands and given shitty land until oil was found on it and the white man took that land too. I'm sure you're familiar with that grim history. Yes. He wanted the telescope builders to be respectful, but his line in the sand was that pushing forward for building it was automatically disrespectful. I wanted to ask about that, but I think I learned more just by letting him continue. Apparently, the governor has been forcibly removing protesters and targeting their elders, locking them up on false charges to shut them up. But a few other points that stood out in what he told me. One, they talk about the return of the Hawaiian king to power. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's definitely not. Nope. Anyway, two, he mentioned that the mountain is also a royal grave and should also be protected like Indian burial grounds. That's interesting.
Oh, jeez.
And three, probably most disturbing, he said that the telescope would be pumping radioactive materials into the ground.
Why?
The construction company told his people that the radioactivity would be good for their crops.
Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. If that's true, that's some crazy-ass bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I can imagine there being some low-level radioactive pieces to a telescopic puzzle. But I don't know about that. I know nothing.
I know nothing about telescopes. That surprises me to hear.
Yeah. I don't know.
That would be the case.
Or maybe it's just something to do with the construction. I don't know. But it anyway, we can't comment on that.
Is this like a is there like a reactor in this?
I
don't think
it's
a
so.
nuclear powered.
I don't think that's
telescope?
what it'd be, but maybe there are some mildly radioactive materials that are good for use with that sort of thing. I don't know. Anyway, hey, thanks for writing into us.
Yeah.
That's an interesting conversation you had. So, hey, Frank,
Mm-hmm.
do we have some thanks to be just doling out?
We do have thanks, Dan.
Oh, good.
We have a new patron. One new patron this week on Patreon.
Okay.
Laurel, who is coming in at the beatified level.
Well, blessed be she.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laurel. And, of course, as always, we have our top donor, our Lord and Savior, Hannah!
Hannah, you're killing it out there. You
Amazing.
are destroying it, Hannah. And thank you all of you for all of your kind donations.
Yeah.
If you'd like to be one of the blessed few who actually donate to this show instead of listening to it for free like a freeloader, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com. Click on the banner on the right-hand side of the page and join up.
Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
So I did something this week that's been on my mind for a very long time,
Okay.
which is I sold my car and I essentially replaced it with a bike.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a thing. And you did it not because you didn't need the car, you weren't using the car.
No, I used the car.
You did it
quite often.
You did it as a stand. You took a personal stand.
I took a personal stand. Yeah, I used to be a drive to work exclusively, and then this summer, type of person. And then this summer, I decided that I was going to try out, biking to work.
Sure.
And I liked it.
It's a healthy choice. You get some exercise.
It's healthy. It's we have bad air in this city. And so I was kind of
you're not contributing to the bad air.
I'm not contributing, at least through driving.
You're breathing extra of it, which that's not great as you're biking. But
yeah, I mean, on really bad days, I don't know what I'll do. But at this point, the plan is just get out there, cycle, and stay out of a car as much as possible. We're a one-car household now, right? So there is still a car available for going and
running errands.
That where a bike just wouldn't be convenient or possible. But in large part, I'm fairly lucky. I live in a spot where I have access to fairly decent bike lanes, and you want to
divest yourself,
live miles and miles and miles from work,
right?
I finally did it. But as I was doing this, it's obviously, I'm committing myself to it in a much greater way, because I still would occasionally drive my bike or drive my car to work.
Right.
For the fact that, sometimes there's weather, or sometimes it's just, you're running
late
errands
or whatever.
To be honest, it doesn't never really shaved that much time off.
Okay.
Because there's still all the stoplights to get to work. Either the same stoplights or stoplights that I'm rolling through or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it is definitely a little bit longer on the bike, but it's not that much longer on the bike. Right. It was never a time concern thing. But anyway, so I did it, but it really has had me thinking about this question of why do I don't have kids, right? I don't believe in God. There's no outside forces that are pushing me toward caring so deeply about, the environment and the community and the world that I would be leaving to the next generation type of thing, right? And yet I do care deeply about these things.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and to the surprise of no atheist, right?
Sure.
But like this is going to probably ring very true to our listeners of like, well, yeah, of course I care deeply about these bigger issues and
about humanity and about,
of course I do,
the environment and about the world and even other beings that aren't human.
Right. But it leaves me with this question of why. And you use the example of, Christians are always like, well, if you don't believe in God, you're just going to go around killing it. What's going to stop you from just running around killing everybody? And it's like, well, that's a really bad example because there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That aren't God said, Yeah,
I mean, there are legal things in place. There are consequences. There's all sorts of things. But that's not what stops most of us from murdering people.
No, it's...
Most of us don't murder people because we're pussies about it. We're not committed. That's why.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Get out there and do some murdering. That is not.
No,
that's not the official position.
But seriously, like obviously there are deeper things about the human psyche.
Yeah.
About we're social creatures and we care for each other. Like. Typically.
It's first of all, yes, it is built into our DNA.
Yeah.
We are social because over the course of the millennia that we evolved to this thing,
right?
We evolved. Somehow our DNA figured out that we do way better when we're a group than we do when we're a single us.
Right.
Like one human, not great. 50 humans. Start doing some shit and society, we start killing it.
Right.
We start really, we thrive.
Yeah.
So we are hardwired for pro-sociality.
Yeah.
As opposed to anti-sociality. But more than that, I mean, I think that it's not just that. I think, yes, we're hardwired to that, but then we think.
Yeah.
And
on
I think
top of it all.
Yeah. We have this ability, we've got a great prefrontal cortex.
Right.
Just chugging along, coming up with ideas. Doesn't work all the time.
Some are greater than others.
Sure. But it's not a perfect system by any means.
Right.
We have learned this the hard way.
Yeah.
And lest our writer in from Perth think that his Australian community his beloved Australia is immune. The bad thinking's coming for you.
I know.
Wherever you are, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, but I think we, as a species, we care.
I know.
And because we have such a broad impact on the entire, on every ecosystem in the world,
right?
And we're the only species apparently capable of considering that fact.
Yeah.
We need to consider it.
Yeah. I think it's really sick, Dan, that organized religion has essentially co-opted people's sense of where right and wrong comes from.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, right?
Well, it's
because it's their insidious way of controlling people.
Yeah.
But it's really gross because it's natural, right? In fact, religion is Mormonism. Natural man is, the enemy to God.
Isn't that to God? Yeah.
Isn't that in the Book of Mormon or something? I can't remember.
I don't know where that is.
But I grew up with that.
I thought it was like a biblical thing, but
maybe it's biblical. I mean, who knows? But it's definitely a message that is out there in all of Christianity.
Yeah.
And pretty much all of religion, probably. That your natural self is evil and has to be corrected.
Right.
By religion, that you need religion to balance you out.
Which they don't see what the problem of that is. What's shocking about that is that they're making Christopher Hitchens' argument. They just don't know that they just don't know what the next step of the argument is. Because Hitchens would talk about, it is not a moral, omnipotent being that would create you sick and command you to be well.
Right.
And that's what, if the natural man is an enemy to God, guess who made natural man?
Right.
That dude, by your
Right.
thinking, like, he's the one that made you that way.
Right.
Why would he create you in a way that is enemy to him?
Right. I
That
know.
doesn't make any sense.
I know.
But boy, do they get to control you
Right.
the second they believe that. To your point.
I know.
Like, boy, do they get to say, I'm the arbiter of what's right and wrong. I'm the arbiter of where morality comes from.
Yeah.
You're not.
Right.
It's not part of you. It's not inherent to you.
Right.
It's inherent to God, and I get to be the mouthpiece of that.
Right. And then, ironically, right, it unleashes these darker parts of humanity.
Oh, yeah.
right? The judgmental and the antisocial parts that are within all of us. But I think you let people, essentially, you teach them well as they're growing up, because it's not easy being a good person, right?
No.
You have to work at it.
Yeah.
But I think by and large, we would mostly come to it on our own,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think, I don't know, I hope. Like, my sense as a person without, like, these religious messaging coming at me all the time is that I naturally just want to be better. I want to encourage the good parts of my nature.
Yeah.
And try to avoid the worst parts.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And because I know from experience that the engaging in the good stuff is just better.
It just feels
right?
better.
It feels better.
It confirms. Yeah, it gives you a good sense of your own
Right.
self.
But somehow religion twists and lets you off the hook for feeling okay about the other is bad.
Yeah.
And the other is, and you're allowed to be scared of the other, and you're allowed to hate,
Reject.
right? Yeah,
Hate.
Judge.
All of that stuff.
Sit there and
Judge.
judge people.
Yeah.
right?
It's amazing. You know, you're so right about, like, what is natural to human beings.
Yeah.
To the point where if their natural state isn't one of caring about their fellow human beings,
Yeah.
we consider that a pathology. We consider that a sickness.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the secular view of it.
Right.
That is the scientific secular view.
Right.
If, and we can treat it and we can talk about it.
Right.
But we consider that not evil,
But
But
something
s-
that needs to be addressed.
but outside of the realm of normal human
yeah. Yes.
behavior
Yeah.
and thinking. And we don't, and when it gets truly out of hand, we don't allow those people to participate in society
Right.
in the same way as everybody else.
Yeah.
Because that leads to some very negative things. That's unnatural. That's
Yeah.
or a wild deviation from the norm.
Yeah.
The normal human functioning is pro-social and is cares.
Yeah.
So you're right. The deep irony of this is that when you say go against your nature, because I have all of these good instructions for you.
Right.
I have
Which were actually
goodness.
shit instructions.
Well,
which
yeah.
are also going against your nature. Most Okay, fair enough. And then they tack on the sex stuff.
And then they tack on.
Yeah. Which is so against our nature.
Right, exactly.
That
yeah.
you have to sit there and fight, and you need the religious figures and teachers
Right.
to help you through, because that's not right.
But if your
But
religion
that-
was
the
so
rest of
fucking
it-
smart,
Yeah.
why did every other religion come up with exactly the same rules with only minor variations?
Anywho, back to why do we care?
So yeah, I mean, the environment is not that's not a immediate social level thought. Like,
you got to get there.
Right.
Right.
You have
Like
to take several big
Yeah.
steps to get to, you know what, I shouldn't drive a car because I'm contributing to an environmental thing that I don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So how'd you get there? You got there. You
I got
you put your money where your mouth is. Well, technically, actually, you'll probably get more. You'll have more money now.
I figure I just gave myself a nice little raise.
You gave yourself a little raise.
I did.
But you made your life a little bit harder.
Not a small one. Because okay, everybody, do this little exercise with me. You might be lucky and you own your car outright. Okay, cool. Right. But most people probably have some kind of car payment.
There's a payment.
So you got your car payment, you got the gas, you got the insurance, you got the regular oil changes, you got to take care of your tires, get new tires every once in a while.
Yep.
And then on top of it all, shit breaks.
Yep.
Right? And so you're looking at hundreds of dollars a month, right?
Yeah.
Even it's a couple to few hundreds without a car payment. Tack on a car payment.
Yeah.
Right? That's so okay. That obviously was appealing.
Yeah.
Am I just some fantastic, amazing human being who's doing it just for the environment? No, not entirely. Right? I'm getting health benefits out of it. I feel a little bit better about my contribution to our bad air, and I am saving some money.
But Lord knows,
but and to be honest, this is the real kicker. After a summer of biking, a ton, right?
Yeah.
And getting behind the wheel occasionally, I don't like me behind a wheel. I'm angry.
Oh, interesting.
I get aggressive. I yell at strangers.
Huh.
Right? And we all do this to some degree. Oh, what an idiot.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you like it's all the time. That guy just cut me off and you get all pissed off and angry.
Sure.
Aggressive, like there's so many aggressive drivers around. Sometimes you feel like you just kind of have to be aggressive too. And it's just all this like nasty whatever. And whenever I found that I was arriving to a destination, I was never like as filled with essentially joy that I feel after riding the goddamn stupid bike.
You're just
the bike is such a joyful way of getting around. That's not to say that there aren't disrespectful people behind the wheel. Sadly, there are. But so far I've been lucky. I haven't really encountered some of the scary stuff that I've heard a lot of cyclists talk about with aggressive drivers who essentially try to run you off the road.
Yeah.
This legitimately happens. It's disgusting. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. There's some sickos out there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Guarantee you they have the "In God We Trust" license plates. That's just me shitting on some more religion. That's all.
To be honest, though, they are the worst drivers.
Oh.
It's all, if somebody's cutting you off, if somebody's doing something stupid, somebody's absolutely just a dingbat behind the wheel.
They always have.
They always have
In God We Trust.
It's insane.
It's okay. Confirmation bias might be playing a role.
Maybe a little bit, but no. Like seriously, like I kind of just took stock at the end of summer and was just like, you know what, I've wanted to get rid of my car for years. Right. And when I lived in the condo, that would have been a good time to do it. Grocery store just right around the corner, so forth and so on. Not very far from work. And I just never did. Right.
Yeah.
But when Dave and I, took the step to buy a place together and everything, that it just kind of also felt like, well, all right, you've got a car. We can go to be a one-car household. This is just half forcing something that I've wanted for a long time.
It's a bold move.
Or not forcing, allowing something that I've wanted for a long time. And I just think it's great. And again, when I'm done with getting somewhere, it's just like, I've been out in the fresh air or polluted air, but it been out and been in the sun, been moving, and you just feel better.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I love driving. I love my car. But I've been trying to get my ducks in a row to get a solar powered car, meaning I want an electric car and a solar array on my roof so that I can power my car by the sun. That's what I'm working on.
Do they sell these?
No, I'm on the roof of my house.
Oh,
to power an
Dan,
electric car.
Those are really just like those desert concept things.
No.
It's like
I mean just a standard electric car. And then get a solar.
That's a great step.
Solar panel.
That's a fantastic step.
But it is interesting. Like it's been on my mind too.
Yeah,
and I'm a guy who drives a lot.
Right.
And
see, you're just going about the very expensive solution.
Yeah, I'm doing the opposite of what you're doing. You're getting a pay raise in your choice. I'm like, exercise. Oh God, that sounds awful. I guess okay. This is gonna cost me.
Dan, to be honest, you should think about a bike. I'm dead serious. Okay. Do you ever get on a bike? You have a bike? Don't you have a bike?
I used to. It's
you guys have this nice clean shot down to downtown.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you're fully aware of the route.
I don't like arriving sweaty.
You don't have to arrive sweaty. Get an e-bike. That's what I do.
Yeah, there is that.
And so if you're in a situation, the ride home, the assist is way off.
Yeah.
Right? Or way turned down. If you turn it all the way off, it's a really heavy bike. But like, you turn it all the way to its lowest level, and it feels more like you're just riding a bike.
Right.
Right. If I'm going to work and it's sunny and hot already in the morning, you can turn that assist up, and then you're not, getting all.
But also, have you ever driven a Tesla? Because they're really fun. It's really fun to drive.
Have you ever ridden an e-bike? They're really fun to ride.
Okay, that's true. It's true. I'll get both. Shut up. Anyway, it's an interesting thing. Why do we care? We do. We just do. We care. We
just care.
We think our way to caring, I think, a lot of the time.
It's not like it's not a process. I will say that. And I don't say that to like pat myself on the back or anything like that. But like it's hard work.
Yeah.
And some of these conclusions you come to these conclusions, and it's funny the space between the conclusion and the action sometimes. Because it was something that I've wanted. I've wanted this for a very long time.
Right.
And
and also, I mean, look, this conversation has gone on for a while, but right. I do want to mention that, like, this is the same thing. Here's the thing: we're limited critters, and I don't have the bandwidth to care about all the things that people want me to care about.
Right.
I just don't.
Right.
So I'm sorry, vegans. You might be 100% right.
Right.
And I don't have the bandwidth for it.
Right.
I'm just not there. And maybe someday I will be.
And this is an incredibly important point. Continue.
So I care about the things that I can make myself care about.
Yeah.
And I try, and I do put in the thought, and I do put in, and I do, like, I think about the whole vegan thing. I think about the whole, I think about these things insofar as I can.
Right.
and then I take what actions I can take,
right,
to make some difference somewhere.
Right. And this is critical. I think that we have to accept people where they currently are at.
Yeah.
In this process. I think sadly we're very behind where we all need to be. Just like, I think we all need, like, it would behoove all of us to find that thing that we've thought about and see if we can't work on it.
Yeah.
Because, and then maybe once you get there, then you think about something else. But like, this planet is in trouble in terms of human habitation.
Yeah.
I guess humanity's in trouble for what we're doing to this planet. Like, we're in legit trouble. And like,
the planet will keep on spinning.
The planet's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
This rock will be here.
Yeah. There may not be people on it. Or other critters. We might. Who knows?
We might really.
Who knows what we could do? We could kill all of the life.
We're doing a number on this planet. Not to totally just ramble. And I won't go down that road.
Okay.
It was about birds. Have you heard about the birds?
Oh, the birds.
Oh, fucking.
We've killed, a third of the birds in this country. Christ. Anyway, look, here's the problem. Here's the thing. Find a thing that you can believe in. Find a thing that you have bandwidth for. And then go for it. Yeah. And then also don't be a shit to people who don't have the bandwidth for everything.
This is really, really, really important.
Don't be a fucker to people who
where they're at.
Yeah. Okay.
Work with them.
I love those conclusions.
Because sometimes all people need is a little bit more information, a little push,
right?
A little whatever.
But nobody's being a bad person because they're not all in on your pet issue.
Right.
Nobody's being a horrible human being because they can't get to where you've gotten to on your pet issue.
And I, like, with the whole bike thing, like, I know I have to be careful that I don't come off as, because, like, most people are not in the position that I'm in.
Yeah.
They don't live in close proximity to their work.
Right.
And, you know,
or
have streets that they feel safe on.
Yeah.
This is what causes a lot of people to not ride their bike. It's because
they're not fucking safe.
they're not safe.
Yeah.
You know?
So figure out what you can do. Get out there and do it. Figure out a little bit more, maybe every so often. Figure out a little bit more than you can that you can do.
Keep pushing yourself.
Keep pushing yourself, and then be kind to each other. And that's beautiful. And that's a great way
what
to
a beautiful world. Dan.
Oh, we solved it again.
Warm fuzzies.
We figured it out again. Thank God.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, listen, folks. If you have some suggestions or ways that you think that we got this wrong, great. Write into us.
No,
Podcast. We're not wrong. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and see what's happening over there.
Also on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. You're requested to join. Find us on Twitter at TGIAtheist. I have been tweeting.
Woo!
A lot of retweets, but I'm tweeting. It counts.
It counts. We're counting it. Speaking of Facebook, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of your hard work on the Facebook page. You're amazing. Thanks also to Amy and Danny, who I assume are still doing stuff on the Members Only Lounge. I have been MIA for a little minute, but I'll get back in there. I'll get back in there.
In there, Dan.
Anyway, also
a big thanks goes out to the Red Arc Hot Club for the use of their music, and to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
Yeah, and thank all of you, honestly, truly, genuinely, for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.